Does your eyeshadow go on patchy, a little bit uneven, and you just struggle to blend, especially matte eyeshadows? Well, I'm going to show you how to achieve a very smooth application and break down why brush choice, pressure, and the base that you apply your eyeshadow to is super important for a very smooth, polished look. I'm mostly going to be working with matte eyeshadows just to show you how easy it is to achieve this kind of really soft, well blended, polished eyeshadow look that anyone can achieve. I've done my base makeup all over my face and I've left my eyes with nothing on just so I can show you how to start your eye makeup. I'm personally going to use a concealer just to show you that you don't have to buy a fancy eye primer. However, if you want to use an eyeshadow primer, that is also a great option. I've chosen a concealer because it gives coverage and it's going to completely neutralize the eyelid skin so that the eyeshadow that we're popping on the skin comes out and looks almost identical to the color that's in the pan. Most eyeshadow primers work beautifully, but they don't give coverage. So if you're popping an eyeshadow primer onto an eyelid that has no foundation or concealer on, the redness and the uneven skin is not going to be a great base for that eyeshadow to sit on top of. We want to neutralize the eyelid space, so opt for either foundation, concealer, or a tinted eyeshadow primer. A tacky base is usually the main culprit for creating patchy eyeshadow. So we're going to take a translucent powder, and it's important to opt for one that doesn't contain silica. I'll explain why in a moment. Take a powder puff and press some of that powder over the eye to completely absorb any moisture or tackiness that comes from your base products. Pressing this in will work so much better than using a swiping motion, but you can definitely use a brush to dust away any excess product so it doesn't interfere with our eyeshadow application. I'm going to show you an example of why you do not want your powder to contain any silica. I've applied a stripe of powder here down the arm and a regular eyeshadow primer on this side. You'll see here when I swipe the eyeshadow over the skin that has the powder that contains silica, the silica works as a barrier to the eyeshadow. Therefore, when you apply eyeshadow to your eyelid that has this powder on, it just will not play ball. It will be patchy, the payoff will be terrible, and it could be a contributing factor as to why your eyeshadow doesn't blend as well. An example of this powder would be the By Terry powder, which works great under the eyes, just not on your eyelids. I'm going to show you my different brush choices as we work through the eyeshadow application, but I just wanted to show you soft, fluffy blending brushes are going to be your best friend when it comes to applying matte eyeshadows. For example, the one I'm using here, the bristles are just a bit too tightly packed to create a very soft blend. And for your reference, the eyeshadow palette I'm going to be using today is the Makeup by Mercier Master Mattes palette. I'm taking my MAC 286 fluffy blending brush, and this one is a duo fibre brush, which means the bristles are slightly lighter and thinner at the very tip, which means it applies less product. It's also slightly domed, almost tapered, which makes this the ideal brush for working in the socket because it just does the work for you. We only want a very light amount of product on the bristles, and always tap off the excess powder. The key to a seamless and smooth application and blending is to use light washes of colour. Always remember that you can build up on that intensity, but you can't easily take it away, so go lightly first and then build up to your desired intensity. Next, you want to think about the pressure that you're using. If you hold the brush handle further down towards the end of the brush, you'll have a lighter hand when you're working in circular motions. And then the opposite is true, that if you hold your fingers closer to the bristles, your application will be firmer. So hold your brush further back and use a very light hand when you are applying these very light layers of colour. As you can see, I've switched to a slightly smaller brush because I'm working on a smaller area, and I'm going in with deeper shades here, again tapping all the excess product off and using such a light hand that I'm not even really moving the bristles. And slowly but surely I'm building up the darkness on this part of the eyelid, and I'm holding the handle very far back so that my hand is very light. So we've mostly worked with matte eyeshadow so far. I'm going to go into this Patrick Tar palette and I'm going to work with the two far right shades just with my fingers. We don't even need brushes for this. And the key is to pat these on, not swipe them on. So use a patting motion, making sure that the majority of the colour goes on the very inner corner first, and use whatever's left on your fingers to gently tap that across to meet the matte brown eyeshadow that we've already applied. Going back to our small brush, I've tapped off all the excess product of a matte brown in a deeper shade, and I'm very softly fading that close to the root of the eyelashes on the outer third and gently pulling it again across to meet the slightly shimmery shade that we just applied. Shimmers are very easy to blend, they're easy to work with, but matte shades are notorious for being more difficult to blend. But I'm hoping you can see how easy this has been using the right brushes, the right pressure, as well as using very light layers of the eyeshadow and also having the correct base down for the application of matte eyeshadows. So we've framed the eye by going underneath the lower eyelashes. We're now going to use a very small pencil brush. You get these in various sizes as I'm showing you here. These are perfect for more precision work, and I want to use that shimmery shade on the very inner corner of the eye, so these brushes are perfect for that because they're so small. I know this part is less about the blending, but I thought I would still show you the entire makeup look. I'm using these very tiny No. 3 brushes by Anastasia Beverly Hills. The bristles are pointed, they're short, they're also flat and tightly packed. They work brilliantly when you're working with a cream eyeshadow stick such as this one by Nude Sticks in the shade Cocoa, which is a dark brown. I'm taking this close to the root of the eyelashes, and instead of using a traditional liquid eyeliner, we're going to use this eyeshadow stick to line the top lash line. This works with any eye shape because it doesn't overwhelm the eye. It's not as stark or as intense as a traditional liquid eyeliner. You could of course use a darker brown eyeshadow to line the top lid. I prefer something that I know is not going to move all day, and these Nude Sticks eyeshadows are completely smudge proof once they dry down. I do have a Nude Sticks discount code and I will link it in the description bar if you want to try it for yourself. I'm using that same brush to work the same eyeshadow stick between the root of my eyelashes. This is going to darken this area, making the lashes look fuller, and it frames the eye, but again it doesn't overwhelm it because we're not using black. This is a great tip if you have hooded eyes and you can't wear eyeliner because you just don't have the space above your top lash line. Take a waterproof gel eyeliner and apply this to the upper waterline, so we're going underneath the root of our top lashes, and this is going to create an eyeliner appearance without losing any space on your top lid. Pop some mascara on. I'm using my favourite, which is the Lancome Lash Idole mascara. If you want to see how to make the most of your natural eyelashes using mascara, I will link the tutorial on screen for you now. So as you can see, we have a beautiful blend to our eyeshadow. This is the before and after, so you can see it looks so seamless. There's zero patchiness. We are taking into consideration that the skin does move. You will lose some elasticity with age, so you have to take those things into consideration when we talk about the smoothness of the eyeshadow. However, this is the most seamless way to apply eyeshadow that is not going to be patchy, and it's foolproof. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and the tips and tricks that I've showed you are going to change your eyeshadow game. I will list and link the products I've used in the description bar. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section and I'll do my best to get back to you. Hit subscribe if you are new to my channel. My name is Shonagh Scott. I'm a professional makeup artist. I'm here to help you build confidence with using makeup. See you in my next video. Bye guys.